Hi, it's Richard Barrett here for Guitarist magazine, and I want to show you the Charvel Pro Mod DK24, which is an S-type humbucker, single humbucker, and the premise is that there's no unnecessary embellishment going on here. It's a plain mahogany body with a very thin satin finish. It's meant so that it will show a few miles and it will look rough and ready and workmanlike. While we're talking about the construction, we've got a slim and quite shallow roasted maple neck. 24 frets. These are jumbo frets, the kind that you would normally expect on this type of guitar. They're finished beautifully, as you would also expect. At the top here, we've got locking tuners, a tusk nut, so you don't need to get the pencil out every time you restring. And then moving down to the body end, and I should point out before we do move down actually that this is a compound radius, so slightly more curved, 12-inch radius up here near the nut, and opening out to a 16-inch at the top, so you can get a lower action with less of that kind of whining and choking that you can sometimes get when you're doing string bends with a more curved fretboard. So that's a nice modern convenience too. Right, now moving on to the body. The three pickups, they're all Seymour Duncan. The neck humbucker is an Alnico Pro 2, about 7 and a bit K, so it's vintage output. Middle single coil is an SSL 6 flat coil. That's a bit more powerful at 13K to balance with these humbuckers. In the bridge, it's another Duncan. It's the full shred, so it's double the power of the neck pickup really at about 13K. So it's vintage hot rather than super sort of blow your amp up hot. And then carrying on to my right, we have the Gota 510 bridge, which has become something of a standard for these things. It's a 2-point vibrato bridge. I wanted to say tremolo, but I mustn't. And that affords you some up and some down motion with it recessed into the body, so it's nice and slimline there. You haven't got a big chunky thing. Right, 5-way selector I'm going to get into in a minute or two because that has some automatic coil splits and things that happen, so stay with me on that. 500K volume, a no-load tone, which means that up to 9 it functions like a regular tone controller. 9 is your maximum. When you click it up to 10, it takes the tone control out of the circuit. Now, we all know that the tone control on 10 still affects the circuit a little bit because the cap still bleeds a little bit of high end to ground. Well, this takes it out completely. So it gives you a little bit more openness, a little bit more high end, which in guitar terms really translates as a bit more high mid. Now, just to finish up, everything's been very neatly recessed in the back here. You've got lots of contours, recessed neck bolts, and a sloping heel. You can see that the jack there goes in at the correct angle to go over your strap, so that you don't tread on the lead and pull it out in the middle of a solo. One thing that I might change is I might have holes in here so that I could restring without taking the plate off, though probably wouldn't have the plate on in the first place. I'd probably just put a bit of electrical tape over the springs so they don't ring at high gain and volume and leave it at that. I think that's about everything. I'm going to run through the sounds of the pickups now and talk you through the selector. Let's start with the neck, shall we? I'll put the no-load tone on 9, and I'll just play you a couple of chords with a clean tone. Okay, now let's bring that no-load tone up. See if you can hear the difference. It's subtle. And then on again. So it's not screamingly obvious, but it does just give you a little bit more push. and it probably gives you a tiny bit more output as well. Okay, now I'd like to show you the next position down. So this is the neck facing coil. This is automatically split and combined with the middle single coil, okay. So it's like an S-type pickup selection, though we are 24 frets, so there are going to be subtle differences in the sound. Let's have a listen. And then if I want to just make that a bit more edgy, I can click the tone control onto 10, take it out of the circuit. So you can hear that there's just a little bit more edge. At least I hope you can. I'm certainly hearing it here in the room. Then middle position, we are dealing with not the single coil as you might expect, but we have the central coils of the two humbuckers, so a bit more of a T-type. And actually that was with the no load. Oh, so let's hear it. And let's put it off again. I'm doing my best to make sure that you get to hear that, but I'm aware that the difference is subtle, so you might need the guitar actually in your hands to hear that. It does make a difference though. If we click on to the next selection, this is the neck facing coil on this full shred humbucker and the middle again. So more of a Dire Straits vibe, I guess. And let's open up that tone control again. I personally feel that that kind of extra glassiness is really good for a funk rhythm. It just gives that extra cut and focus. Finally, the full shred. Let's have that with the tone control in its more conventional position. So as you can hear, it's struggling to stay clean. I mean, it's not stupidly powerful, but it does have the extra push that you want and need if you're going to flick down from neck to bridge and not sound like you've lost something. That was the first mod that people have done for decades with any guitar, is go and get a slightly more powerful bridge pickup. They come as standard now. And let's open up that tone. That's probably the least noticeable on the bridge pickup because it's so sort of full on anyway. There is something happening there. Now I'd like to just show you the pickup selections with a bit of drive added. So I've set up the AC15 here, and I've got a Flatley Revolution drive as a gain boost. So let's have that on, and I'll just go through them again as I did.